listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
I guess I'm pretty passionate about this. I don't know. Well, hey there. Welcome back. I'd just like to say, passion is for posers. What? How can I say that? You're supposed to pursue your passion. Passion is everything. Passion is the juices of life. Passion is the thing. How can I possibly say passion is for posers? Also, Peter Piper picked a peck. Well, anyway, but it does have that alliteration thing, doesn't it? Passion is for posers. Make sure you're wearing your mask when you say that. Anyway, so why on earth am I getting down on passion if it's all that stuff? Well, like so many words, it gets overused to the point where it loses its meaning. We live in an era where words are used and overused so much to make an impact that nothing has meaning anymore. I mean, just the use of the word very should make a big difference. You know, I was very hungry. Oh, okay. Well, I know what it's like to feel hungry. Boy, you are very hungry? Wow, that's a lot more than how I felt. But people don't say that. They say, I was starving. No, you weren't starving. You weren't starving. Anyway, I don't want to go on that tangent. So instead, let's go back to passion. You are told many times to follow your passions and the money will fall out of the sky, right? If you do the thing you love and then get paid for it, you're in a really good place, blah, 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 right? I had a podcast called Job, Career, or Calling, in which I talked about sort of the three flavors of your work. You know, and just to recap real quick, and I'll have a link to that also in the description, is a job is something you just do. You do the job and you go home. You're probably not going to go too far in the job, but when you're done, you're done. A career is something you have immersed yourself in. I mean, it's something you may have studied for years to become, to get certified for, to get a degree in, what have you. You may have been redegreed. You may have increased your level of degree while working in this career. It's something that follows you home. It's something that you go home, you have dinner, and you open up your laptop. It's something that prevents you from truly, probably, ever having a real vacation because you can't escape it. When you get back to your career, you typically don't just go, okay, I'm just going to continue to do. So how is everyone doing? You typically have to deal with what has backed up. And then there's a calling. The calling always has connotations of not getting paid for it, right? The calling is something that you just feel like you are meant to do. And if you can figure out somehow to get paid for it, all the better. Sure. Okay, so that's job, career, or calling. And that's important to think about in the context of what I'm about to say. So let's do our fun pause that I have cornered the market on, that I and only I do in my podcasts. Thank you. So why don't you go ahead, pause this, and think about job, career, or calling within the context of what it is you do for a living and what it is you want to do. Just think about how that fits with you. Which one are you doing? No, I'm serious. Pause it. Okay, so you may have laughed at that, or you may have actually paused it. So now that you have that and a good full understanding of that, let's talk about passion, right? Passion may have actually entered your mind when you were thinking about job, career, or calling, when you thought about what it is that you're doing for a living, what it is that you thought about what you want to do for a living, or that thing you do at night when nobody's looking, that craft or that other thing, or that secret passion that you read about online that you never will be able to afford to do, or what have you, right? Your passion of collecting small shiny objects, your passion of that thing that you do. Do you want to follow that passion? First of all, do you want to follow that passion? Because it may not have taken shape yet. I mean, you collecting a certain thing as your passion may not actually be enough to pursue as a career, right? You may also have a passion for something that just you really enjoy. But if you were to make a job out of it, you may very well ruin it. Okay? So you may have a job, career, calling, and be comfortable with that and be happy with that. And then you have your passion, right? And then someone says, "Oh, you're trying to do a job," and then now you're doing it constantly. Now you're pushing it really hard because you're trying to do this to make money, and now you hate it. You just hate it. You've ruined your passion. So I guess that's point one I want to make here is be careful when pursuing your passion. The other point I want to make is for anyone who sees on social media and other places where people talk about their passions, I no longer care. I'm sorry. But I see that so often. I don't believe you. I don't believe it's your passion to help people find a job or to make connections with people or to do that thing that you keep posting on LinkedIn about. I don't believe you. I don't believe it's your passion. And in some cases, I've actually tested that by reaching out to people to talk about it. And I find that, it's not really your passion. It's your way of shoving somebody into a funnel and trying to get money out of them. That's so cynical, Mark, you say, and I can somehow hear you. Nah, I'm not being cynical. I'm being objective. I'm being analytical. The thing that I have almost always, without fail, found in people... Oh my God, that's another alliteration. I'm not saying that ever again. The thing that I found is that people who truly have a passion tend to have a quiet humility about it. They're really, 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 really good at something. Oh, Bill, I never knew that you made antique furniture in your basement. Right? You never asked. It's just something I enjoy. It's a passion of mine. I love doing it. You'll typically hear from other people about someone's passion, and you'll just stumble on it. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who truly have a passion and they wear it on their sleeve, like people supposedly wear their hearts on their sleeve. It's not a good idea. Read the Status Game 2 to find out why. But you'll typically find that there aren't people, for the most part, who do that. And yes, I'm saying there are some people who do that. You will find people. And if you think you're one of those people, you might be getting offended at this. To that, I say, good. Get offended. Get offended and think, well, is this guy full of crap? Or am I one of those? Or am I the exception? You know? I have things that I think are passions of mine. They're things that I find very fulfilling and feel very unique to me. They're very private and they're very special to me. I mean, the podcast is an enjoyable venue for me to communicate with you, assuming you are still out there. Hello. You should probably say hi once in a while so I know you're still alive. Hello. Just like my books. The personal productivity books, for example, those were quite a passion to try to, explain things to people in a manner that made sense. And then came the epic duet. That was, one would describe that very much like a passion. I invested an insane amount of time and energy into it. I fell in love with characters that I had created. That's quite passionate. But when I did talk about those things, it was to market them. If I didn't need to market them and people had said, hey, what is this? Hey, can I have 1,000 copies of this? Can I, hire you for speaking events for the next 4 years? I'd say sure, and I'd shut up about it, and I'd never talk about it again. So I didn't necessarily have a desire to shove the passion at people again and again until they and I were spent. But I did have the passion. So point number 2 is beware of passions that are shoved in your face. Beware of that word being used as a way to get you to pay attention to someone. Because passion doesn't work that way. It's similar to what I say about if someone tells you they're attractive, or they're rich, or they're tall, they probably aren't. Because those are things you would just figure out. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. It is a passion of mine. Sorry, I couldn't help it. And I will see you next time. Not only do I appreciate the feedback from people, I actually appreciate the suggestions from people too. That's always fun. And I was tickled pink I literally had a text message from someone about them enjoying a podcast in the middle of them enjoying the podcast, which is so funny. They literally stopped to text me and then said, okay, I'm going to continue watching it, or listening to it rather. So see you later, and take care of yourself. Hey, got some cool news for you. You know The Sword and the Sunflower's been out. It's only part 1 of an epic duet. The sequel and final conclusion is called Amira, and that is now released. The Sword and the Sunflower is also released on audiobook, which is available on many, many, many formats, including your local library. So check out an app called Hoopla. It's available for iPhone and Android and even Roku. Allows you to check out stuff from your library with just your library card, the way that you check out other things. So you can actually get the audiobook of The Sword and the Sunflower just by checking it out from the library. And check out Amira, which is now available on paperback and Kindle. And finally, in addition to that, the book called The Status Game 2 is actually available in libraries as well now as an audiobook. So check them all out and let me know what you think of The Sword and the Sunflower and Amira. I'm quite pleased and proud of those. Thank you.